Ya apply ye to sika yente hwe. Now what is going on? Nti wo bebo hunum. De nkofo bi pede wo sisi won kakra. Esabi Ghana he ya ye wo so yi. Se wo nua po anyima onyonko wo mu. Nti ka bi sem mehen. Me bi sem no che de intention bi anyi ho da wo nwon be ye adwuma. Na so what? De beje obi ni sika wo Ghana ha. That to this paper they we are zin de ni zin onye adwuma. Nti there was a bit of agitation kakra. Na mo ba ya anye de na aba no hwa dede ne redosu. Nti wo ka che ho de hwe se agi ho sika. Anyi ho nye adwuma dama atwo za abakrata mu nara. Agi ho sika nti anyi ho nye adwuma. Nti wo ma ye start negotiation. First was the Yanko police station.
There why then?
Director of CID onya information there. One bachichi private sector operators ni nyina.
There why then?
Why dan agi hu sika mo hono adwuma e ka chichi won so aka ho. No se dem adwuma no weje ye. Nda won fra police yi kaka don ka chobi. Brana baka senti kura pede ye chichi won. Nti what say asam no say be. Na sa agi hu sika za. No anyi won nsia na won ye technical committee oba plan how to do the game. Say if you have the intention to go ahead. Nti won yin hie. And I was setting up technical committee ye kashie de yanka ya agreement e de be de medwumen enti ye share ho October November December 2019 ye bibia mosi enti January 14th of January 2020 and I was issue agreement and was my hema ye signing 7 companies na was one more license enti 7 na July 2020 one more license na nhihye ne mun na o de woman hen 6 months a wofred moratorium obofum ejuma no hie sika nti se pede ya se ye pede bocho card adubiem or dey ye online nti o dey Kenya aba free osi wanyimi
enyo
na nkaka ho na wode ye amasere ya enele foot one officer we hook up electronically na we monitor how we return adin nti se subscribe there the bananfa mba wo bohu there real time ayedam na mfa ya ama nti 6 months in Lotto operators ni pi wo sesi wo ho ba nyimpa na di wie peye mo otumetro ho na we wie no mo monitor oye Alpha Lotto
yeah
nti Alpha Lotto Fred director general there machine si yakra bi ye zaba na ihe license ye what's one my yemfan to enele ho nkasa 1519 na mmom wonye vag fo won hihye bi nti yenkoto vag fo won Lotto nti licenses issued to private sector operators were to operate VAG Lotto under Act 844, regulated from Act 722, Section 24, provision bi ho chere there. Ene le botum ni obiezi nkabom ewa ye Lotto adwuma. Nso no na wogina e wode my license. Into January, only the first month of implementation after the moratorium period. Into Kwame Churchill letters, the owner of Alpha. Other come am so say am your day. Say machine waba. Ye install it, you won brom for no mo hwe. They pede ye boy and bedi guest of honor. Na onam de ye pede ye draw here number nti. Ye submit games in ye da mo there. Approve me hen ansa na. Dem a contract ne kan. It was the games no kwa mo approve. One more on time. One fan draw nyina won krata mu ha.
yeah
Nti why the margin we no chere nche hwi nyi ho there. Yaba your operation. And so Kwame started your operation pet.
Alpha Lotto.
Alpha Lotto. And a year there, middle of February. Let us be free and a little bar. Signed by Razaka. Na no mun summon.
One year Razak.
Razak Kojopoku, public relations officer.
Okay.
Our NLA. Na dambe no suni yenyim there. Yewra osiame yo ne braso. Moroboko. Nyempo ne hadwi yen de bia wobom watena hobiem. Nti Moroboko no hien there. Oba inaugurate yen games in. No ready so. One may yet 200,000. I was the case sensitization. I'm a Ghana for you now. We who there. Send the one who the private sector or your Lotto on your fake. Na here na yam on the tomb. Sikana wajeni why sensitization. Na yerko henyaman. No, they be said there. Sensitization in 1 year. A better than confer ye the day. Ejuma ye 1 year. 1 hen two. Also, yabaye Oh, when yet the Abanasisa, Penino war NLA. Yes, okay. Once the son of that, no, you are a shimmer that's a for bar. And she said, now, when here, you know, wash my baby, I'm a ordinary scene, what you do. And say, when you're acting director general, you who the Razak correspondence in Ban or Ba. Not that the intention is that one pay the private sector from Oba Yejuma. Obia, I'm a member of Franco, who's a phantom machine. Marco machine, my bashi, my fraud, the braboshe, but the game snapper, my approve. Oh, yeah, then you nechi, Minja made money. The Minja done.
1 million
contract no money.
1 million waje na 5 million bank guarantee no. Nina oko NLA wa.
Enyo ko ho.
Enti wo documents what share the way to NLA full.
Oh, kwame mo bibia wa.
Okay. Na me time me bisa dem nye there.
One license no ni kwame.
Oh, man kind me dispute my American.
Yeah.
By meantime me bisa dem nye there. There any large them skin na yes one latest release I was out to go. Was a former director general of Samayao. No new board approval into no new hutum. The obey moyen.
Kwame agreement yin.
Agreement no one was saying.
Say agreement here. Mr. Kofi Oseamayao, witnessed by one external lawyer, Julio de Medeiros. Listen away.
But what's no new board approval?
Onya no kwa. Mama kan show there.
It was board minutes or chair the board na approve here.
Kwame mo. Mo board minutes for papa chair there. The board was involved in this process.
But say it was board minutes is that.
Amanka bibi.
Mpocho mi te.
Them yellow page here was the two graphic what advertising monko for apply here.
Yeah.
When I were applying, they met the full board of NLA. And the full board set the fees of 1 million backed by 5 million guarantee. And a year negotiation so board members say bien na what him. I say I'm your narrow baby. And I'm saying to me, no, of Ministry of Finance or represent ministry no board no do was present. A da license in here ready I was a man. The man paying fee amubo hobby. Penyin could be Suzy Ardon or presidency or hobby. It's a table no do. Now what your license was the man. Now, Kwame.
Yes, sir.
Private company. My board when you. One my approval there. When you for modalities one license. Will charge me fee by the board. Meeting the operators. One appoint one representatives onto the negotiation committee. Yeah, negotiation now will see captured by board minutes. I then no because there when you board approval. Board in it in more licenses. Board in so authorize them will receive this car what you and what the NLA account. And see where is the news that only board approval?
Na enti the masem na.
O mati de kojo opokuru kika.
Because CCMWA a couple of days ago was the NLA reacts to press release conference by Ghana Lotto Operators Association. Now it goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, baby, I'm a pede mission or say Ghana Lotto Operators Association. More you know, you are not backed by law. Now, okay, Mamin Kai. The NLA would like to state categorically that the licenses issued by Honorable Kofi Oseamayao, the former Director General, to all private lotto operators were without board approval.
That cannot be true.
Therefore, in accordance with the National Lotto Act 722 and Lottery Regulations 2008 LI 1948, the licenses issued by the former Director General Honorable Kofi Oseamayao to the private lotto operators are not grounded in law, because it is only the board of NLA that has the powers and authority to grant licenses to companies or individuals who want to operate lotto in Ghana. It was patched that there was no board approval.
These are the minutes from the negotiations committee captured and signed.
By whom?
By the board members, President Mamumbo Honzinicho. Mr. Yentumi was representing the board. There were Mrs. Efumua Bruce, Director, Bag Operations. There were Mr. Aduyobo, Director of Sales. And in some meetings, even there was in attendance Mr. Kofi Osiameyaw. Now, when a board delegates an MD to engage external parties in a negotiation, the managing director acts in the capacity of a messenger of the board, not forgetting that he himself is a member of the board. And when it comes to the issuance of licenses, these are normally issued, authorized by the board and issued through the chief executives. Baby are the man away. And see, them statement now watch out there, board approval and I don't know, boy, Mamanka Bibincho. Raza Kujo Pukuye negotiation. He was nowhere near the negotiations. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. One can say regulations are what.
But in Chair Razak, he was not on his own volition. Sorry, in trouble. Naturally, Obi, the acting director general, ABR, no Oreman instructions.
I cut them because acting director general, 2 weeks ago, Yeshian, we issue statement to be. Na mekane na muhunde, there is a gap in the statement or there. They didn't know about certain things. And in Yanka say, you're Krohokishian. They be saying, oh, chief, now we'll let you that be, oh, yeah, madame, in you with the BB or Hoda down. No, Recade. When Jenny Crate Biara into Onyim anything about your relationship with NLA. And so the follow-up question was that in why they you 1 million at the example. Wabo when I come to my second, even the margin statement you must query. And say, yeah, where?
Yeah.
Your license, we no great to all our yard. Pictures na zinya wo ho. Says in you fear, more information. Na yet information yet the common. Yet the common we na was an issue another statement. Na you catch on it's a new information be I am information. Na marital training you of him. Na na lawyer ni invite him your court office. It's your court office na America there. Lawyer. O client the statements na also ocho in ignorance. No new document biara. But he have a document. Now churchro. And so there he is motivated by something other than using his regulatory power to know the truth. And see, you catch the damaza. Lawyer, making sure that the wo here be a supply. Na mo order tasi be a watasi. What church ya be see there, we issue a letter saying that if you require license in Wichum. Now, Kwame, you Ghana. When a board makes a decision to give or not to give a license, so what peda which a license in the same board must approve or refuse to approve that decision to be made.
What if from the get-go, it was an illegal act that was my license?
There was no illegal act.
Because maybe so that you being a lawyer would know better than I do.
Yeah.
But what's the Act 722 no? On Mahu Kwande one ma license to operate a private Lotto. And is that right? I hear there's a Supreme Court ruling.
There is a provision
that only the NLA can operate Lotto in Ghana. Is it true?
So, as a regulator and operator.
So
there is a provision in Act 722 under Section 24, which states that NLA may collaborate with other parties to operate Lotto. And so we were licensed on the basis of Section 24. It is not wholly true to say there NLA is the only licensed entity to operate. But it is under the same Section 24. And the NLA what to mean VAG for your collaboration, leading to VAG subletting its Lotto to NLA to operate, upon which NLA sublet the same operational authority to the private sector lottery people. It's onion no there under our laws, no private sector Lotto operator can operate. Laws are made with exceptions and provisions to ensure that the law grows. That is why there was the Section 24. There, even though Yerka in 722 there, one other way Lotto. So Abanda wapeda when you binum ye Juma, Wakonda wotum way the margin under Section 24. On the Yejina do an agreement. It is not true. The private sector people are not allowed to operate Lotto in Ghana. When NLA was a full monopoly, That is when they outlawed the private sector. But the framers of Act 722 made that provision 2.4. And when the business grows to a certain point and the authority needs to engage other people, they will be permitted to do that under the 2.4.
But does 2.4 allow the issuance of licenses?
You cannot operate Lotto without license.
Ain't 2.4 no more one more license now?
Exactly. NLA has the power to engage and to grant licenses to other operators to operate the game of Lotto in this country.
Why aren't you going to court? Court.
Yankro court because Asami Bay say Achan was so kakra. Behundo and them circles bim. Wa kwa kodum paying for him. We have written to the president as an association. And so you are aware of these issues. And he has actually met Alpha Lotto. But one sending she bim. And say out of respect for the authority of the nation. Na yeso se pepezi no ho agimuza yentwen na onye mobaye na se oye mobaye bowi na se still we are disadvantaged da me sure the Ghana ha obi mi okọ na modu be bi ntum nya homa oda ehwe be bi benya nkwamia. But
a lawyer say NLC yazambra ni ezri yejuma embra na ezri yejuma ni ntino 1 Kofi Osaya meyaw no onyi tum either by board or by law. The on them license to was the operation. Even though you want 1 million, one side you want 5 million, not the margin. Into only 1. 2, one so say, Embrani and Suyazi, Embrana say, them naughty, Yanam Yankwando. Yanko Supreme Court. Because, Sabi, you do president no ha. President on your judge. Or a president. Ain't he on to me chiamra? Because he's ya, Erika de Emra no say yes, ye juba. President or chiamro, Yampoya, ye bet to Yano Gunodo.
But Kwame Nyimbi
ain't he say, Yako, Nasa President Kade, one more quan private Lotto operators, no one way Juma. Na NLA Fusus on Yamra, and now they walk on our presidency, Memo Mount Quan. And then once we generate there, my president can on Yamra. At the end of the day, Supreme Court in Yaboko. So why don't we go there now?
Kwame,
yes, sir.
Going to court is one of the options available in any matter.
Okay.
Even the Act 32, which governs the lawyers' work. Okay, we must exhaust all avenues so that court going becomes a last resort. In Senior Bibia na such reward you are an operator, a licensee. You have a regulator. There must be that mutual trust to be able to engage. And in the contract we hold, it states it clearly that where there is a dispute, there is a dispute resolution mechanism in the agreement.
Which is?
Now, let me tell you, but me reading show.
But 2.4, does it talk about collaboration?
Yes, it does.
Or does it talk about issuing you licenses to operate?
What does it mean to collaborate?
Me, I don't know a lawyer. I'm coming to you as a greenhorn. It's a pick a word, Nana, maybe so. Also, collaboration.
Act 722 clearly says who can operate Lotto and who cannot.
Okay.
And Act 722 also says that to be able to operate Lotto in Ghana, you have to be licensed. And see, if you come under Section 2.4 to have a collaboration with NLA, the end result is that you must be licensed to operate. And that license is a matter of procedure for you to be able to set up to say, I'm going to operate. Today Media Commission, one more license for set up radio station.
NCA,
one more license. Your own radio station. There's a regulator sitting at times, NMC. Regulator question NCA. NCA free also, even though they do not directly give us a license, we are required, if we want to use USSD to run our operations, to go to them to be certified to get that USSD shortcode. And see, it is not done deal there. Once you corroborate, you must also find another way to be licensed. Without a license, you cannot work.
So collaboration.
A visible display.
Can NLA
permission to operate in your office, which is the license?
Good. Can NLA withdraw the collaboration?
What do you mean?
NLA. Obetumi withdraw them collaboration.
They can. But
they can.
According to the rules.
And so now me baby say under what rules? No obetumi. Because many times we said them the Ebiana NL is Fusubakade. We have a clause that says we can withdraw the collaboration based on 1, 2, 3. We're withdrawing. 1, we think it's an illegality. 2, it didn't have board approval. Into our withdraw. How about that?
The notion of them saying they don't have a board approval, 1, it's not true. It's erroneous. They have no basis in law to say that. And what we are saying is this, that you cannot engage a commercial entity and then capriciously say that when you want to sign an agreement in there, no.
What's on to them? What's Oyemra?
The law has not been made in isolation of circumstances. And the law is not intended to be used capriciously. You must use the law properly to serve the ends of the object of the agreement. And to Munkada Momo license for drive, but all the Saturdays are men right. Ewan, come here to make an answer.
What
Mama license, you can drive everywhere. What will create for you? But remember that's the men right. There's a men that I say, but they do work for hospital, it means that law has been created and doesn't serve the objects for which it was created. We have the right to operate, we are licensed to operate, we have termination clauses which are based on law which must be followed.
That's why
if they had that option, they would have adopted it long ago. But they know the repercussions. I'm a Marco Bobosa based on your promise of a license. But that be set up. That's your repercussions. Termination has to be lawful. If it is unlawful,
am I smelling judgment debt?
So what you mean that? There'll be judgment debt.
But what's the
What's the way to? An agreement or a license that is initiated and approved by a board can only be cancelled by that board, not an acting director general who has no locus.
Asemi should end up in court. Anytime I say me,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
My church or do as better them. These are court papers. But on them there, yet the handsome to penina pindo there, or pedo say ye no home. We don't want to sidestep him as if there. Ye say nasam, ya man respect. There are matters in this country the courts resolve, and sometimes even at court they ask you, have you exhausted all the avenues before coming here?
My issue with going to the president, I'll state again.
Yeah.
President Umda your loyalty to Rubianium. But Yeri Camry, NLA Fus was with Nambrado. One private lotto operator was with Nambrado. Sir President Bano say NLA for 1 year private phone casa. Na the president will boom rane. Another okay private for my NLA cano or no qua. Inti no wasame yedawa. Not the president will boom brado and I. Inti to my mind, I'm not a lawyer, but the best place is the court. What's a high court to the Supreme Court to about no one interpretation of Act 722 no. In interpretation, you work on Supreme Court in what? It's
judicial review.
Judicial. It's what interpretation of Act 722 no. And let the legal system and my lords know one chain. The damn naughty.
The issue is not about interpretation of the law. The law is clear.
The law is clear. Okay.
But somebody is putting his own interpretation on it by using administrative and regulatory measures which are uncalled for. You know, when people are appointed into public offices, they have a fiduciary responsibility, one to themselves, to the organization, and to the state.
Yeah.
You cannot say because the law says I should kill, you go and kill anyhow. Your circumstances will change if you kill anyhow. There's a prescription on what conditions life can be taken.
Yeah.
Even though we all expect that nobody's life should be taken. Now, the appointing authority of the appointee now will take that decision. Sometimes it is important for him to know how my appointee is performing and what measures I can take to prevent an embarrassment to me, the appointee.
Until was a co-president in order.
Because there is a national security issue. I hope you know that. Lottery is a national security issue. And matters that bother on this nature, you must exhaust all the processes of consultation before you end up in court. Now, when the whole nation is engaged on a matter like that, the person with the power to appoint and has indeed appointed an acting director general is bypassed. You can seek a review from him first, and court becomes your last resort. And yet, the Yesru, another Yenyi case, we have a solid case. We are supported by the laws, the agreements we have, and by the conduct of the NLA itself. As a regulator, what we always say in this country is that, say, you are regulators, where you want regulation capriciously. You have the right to drive, but don't drive on Saturday when you need your car. Honorable. Court is adoption. But even our laws state that sometimes you have to go through the process of seeking resolution based on the terms of your agreement before proceeding to the court. Ready. And in some of this dimension, it borders not only on the law or politics, it is also social and economic. People, 3 million families' lives are involved in this. So it's important that we engage, as we are doing, to do the advocacy for people to understand the issues, so that when they hear that tomorrow your kiosk has to be closed, they know what measures operators who under whom they operate have exhausted the whole process before ending up where they are.
But there are other cases in court. Is there cases in court against issuance of licenses, Nazi?
I'm not aware of any at the moment.
There was a Ashanti Lotto Operators Association.
They went for judicial review.
One file BB court.
Yes. They went for judicial review.
So there are cases in. It's not the only case, Mobwa.
It's not the only case. There may be others, because I knew that even the service providers were also in court with NLA, but I don't know how far it has gone.
AT, what's the way forward with this thing?
The way forward,
because this time when the private Lotto operators, when you are especially Alpha Lotto, they were a very major investment. And what's the Wakrak equipment now? The other operators also are looking Wakrak Kanyamaba. That is where they are coming from. The Wabokau. NLA also say Mija baby and Mijina. What's the way forward?
About NLA today. The NLA as we have within this time, it's not the properly constituted NLA. The man acting as Director General is in an acting position. He has no board. And this is not a matter the minister could even accept them. Resolve.
NLA is under the Ministry of Finance, right?
It is.
What?
He needs the council of the board to proceed in that direction. What is it on me? What we are doing is we are hoping, I told the lawyer, that regulators are not supposed to be, embarrassed publicly. Neither do you want to make the public discredit them. And so we want to exhaust the processes that have been laid out for us to follow in our contract. But if that doesn't work, our rights must be vindicated in a court of law. Because if it was unlawful, Ghana has security for in a police if it's watching and they be. But because it is regulated by law, now you don't hear of arrest because they know you have a license. It is a BB bar. We fall on the contract which gave you the power to act in the first place.
Let me ask you my final question. You guys will push BBO say Act 844.
Act 844.
Act 844 on air then.
In fact, Act 844, I'll take you back. In 2006, when Act 722 banned, the law in Act 722 banned all lottery.
The law in Act 722 banned all lottery.
All lottery.
Okay.
Except the lottery operated by the NLA.
Okay.
When you feel there, VAG for sure one lottery what the support to one pensioners. And so what had to happen was President
one veterans.
At the time. No, so no. Ban Lotto to affect the military officers who have served this nation so well.
Those are veterans.
Veterans, sorry. So there must be a law in place to protect their lottery. Now, VAG people have had their lottery even before Ghana started operating its lotto. And to say I am a mistake in promulgating 722, now I can affect one. Let's create a new law which will allow them to operate their lottery. Now, what the Act 844 was?
844 was for VAG.
For VAG. And so private sector operators are now licensed to help VAG to operate its lotto.
Under 844.
Under 844. Now, prior to this, Kwame, Madam Azazi Bichiro. Private sector operators, they were previously licensed by VAG to operate their lottery, and because of 722, that agreement was cancelled and given to NLA. But when NLA went to take the VAG lottery, they couldn't operate it because of the financial constraints. And so they invited the old license holders from VAG. VAG one license, I wasn't my operators.
Yeah, man, a license to operate.
Exactly. Independent of NLA. And so when NLA pushed them further out by refusing them to operate VAG Lotto, they went to take the VAG Lotto and the license, which they called the collaboration agreement between NLA and VAG. And it is from this power given to NLA by VAG. Now, we subcontract whether I'm a private sector operators. Now, one can say one was struggle. And see, Yaka Yusaka, one by your mind. This is all that is going on. And see, the whole thing is protected by law end to end. Nobody is doing anything that the law hasn't said it should do.
That's why I still insist that we should end up in court.
It will. And we are ready. But we also want to be sure that we have exhausted all the opportunities in the country, which we are not getting at the moment.
So the last resort is the president?
No, our last resort will be court. But
no, I mean the last resort for mediation.
For mediation is the president. Yeah.
Until
it will end up there. An automatic.
Let's keep following the story. I say because we are sure that Obaba Mamenda Sanape Imbrinti. Ya baby bio. Madasi. Lawyer Atu Konduah, his counsel for private lotto operators. And some is you hono. Kukuruko. But enye kukuko nyami. Coming up shortly, Dan Kwekwe about the latest in sports on a Wednesday morning, the 7th day of April in the year of our Lord 2021.